welcome to another episode of Mine Planning Matters, a podcast where we talk about where the industry gets it both right and wrong when it comes to mine planning and mining engineering. This podcast is not just for mine planners, it's for everyone who has anything to do with mine plans, from those who create them, to those who execute them, and all the way up to those who endorse or sign off on them. My name is Mark Bowater, Director and Founder of Australian Mining Consultancy Insignia Mining, and I speak from experience, having been involved in mine planning for over 30 years. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Mine Planning Matters. And my apologies that it has been a long time between episodes. That is because a particular client of mine who listens to these podcasts and regularly comments on my LinkedIn posts and will know who he is, has been keeping me extremely busy, way too busy for me to get home at the end of the day and feel like thinking about creating a podcast episode. But today, I want to ask everyone a question. And it would be great to hear the answers, whether you want to comment on my LinkedIn post or whether you want to write your own LinkedIn post and tag me in and get the discussion going. But my question for listeners is this. Would you rather have a mine plan that is very smart, has been generated using priorities and dependencies and rules, so almost a bit AI generated, is optimized. So it's a smart plan. It's got lots of functionality built into it. It's not only scheduling the excavation, it's scheduling the dump as well. You work out truck hours and all those other sorts of things. So it's the bee's knees of plans. Would you rather have that? And because it's been built a bit black boxish, the mine planner doesn't necessarily know the plan that well, because they've effectively set it up and hit a button. Would you rather have that, option A, or would you rather have option B, which is a much simpler plan, way less information and detail to it, but carried out labour intensively by the mine planner? They haven't used any black box components. They have sequenced it themselves and they know the schedule really well as a result. So way less outputs, way less information from it, but the scheduler knows it well. Which one would you rather have, A or B? For me, it's a no-brainer. I would take option B. I would take the simple plan that the planner knows well any day of the week. Few reasons for that. Firstly, we get so much variability in the mining industry that causes so much disruption to our plans that you've got to question how long the smart plan is going to last for anyway before variability stuffs it up. But I think probably the most important reason is that the best plan in the world is useless if you can't sell it to the implementers, the executors, the operations team. If you can't tell them why they need to do this and don't know how to debate or discuss with them, robust discussions when they push back about things and so on. If you don't know that, you can't talk them into it. The best plan in the world is completely useless. And if you don't know the plan, right, because you've effectively hit a button, set up some rules and hit a button, it's very difficult to have some good, robust discussions with the operations team about why they should do this. Versus a simple plan that's maybe not as smart. It's simpler, so it may be easier to implement, but you know it really well. You're going to be able to have those good discussions. And so I would take option B anytime. Which does get me wondering, and this is another question for listeners, it does get me wondering, is there a shift already started or is there a shift coming back to the keep it simple, stupid philosophy and let's just get simpler with things? Almost a bit like we got too smart with our software. You know, if you think of mobile phones, they started off like bricks and then they got tiny where they folded up. You know, they were tiny and you had to fold them out to speak and everything. And then it was like mobile phones got too small, and so then they started to get larger again, and then they've actually started to sort of even get larger again with big screens and everything on them. And maybe we've done the same thing with software. Maybe we've got too smart, and maybe we need to go back to a simplified version. And that's particularly the case in certainly countries such as Australia, where we have a high turnover of engineers. And so engineers need to be able to pick up the software and use it quickly, effectively, and easily, right? And if it's a black box and it's a super smart thing that takes a long time to learn, then that's not going to be the case. And so maybe the whole labour issues also drive that need to head back to simplification. So that's an open-ended question for listeners. I certainly know my opinion. I think we've got to get back to the basics, I think about it as getting back to the fundamentals, right? Getting back to the fundamentals of a mine plan. Maybe it doesn't have as much in it, but maybe it's a good plan. The stuff that is in it is good, is accurate, and is achievable, and you can get the production team on board, right? So I'm interested as to what everyone thinks. Thanks for listening to Mine Planning Matters and my thoughts on mine planning. This podcast is for the benefit of the mining industry, and that's you. So I'd love to hear from you through the comments section, and please feel free to let me know any topics you'd like discussed in future episodes. You'll find much more content at our Insignia Mining website, and if you find any of our content valuable, please let your mining colleagues know so they can benefit as well.